My name is Alejandro and I'm a DJ and producer. I've been DJing for 4 years now and producing for about a year and a half. When I first started, I was only doing small parties for friends and family, and I would get booked here and there to do some small restaurant gigs. Nothing special. I knew if I wanted to be taken seriously as a DJ, I would one day have to play at the world famous Blue Detroit nightclub. Blue Detroit is located on downtown Detroit, and there's something special about this club that when you're playing there, it makes you feel like you're playing for the whole entire city. Some big names have played here, for example, Calvin Harris, Tiesto, Zedd, Avicii, Swedish House Mafia, just to name a few. The very first time I went, I told my friends that one day I would play at that stage. I was so inspired by what DJ Tommy Trash did that night that I worked really hard for the next coming year to be able to play in the summer of 2013. I'm never going to forget that. When I started, I didn't have a lot of money through DJing because I wasn't getting paid a lot. So I had a very small, cheap studio, but it got the job done. I was also playing some small parties at small clubs, and it helped me to get more experience on reading crowds. Every day that whole year, I was learning more and more about music production. I didn't know anything before, so everything was all new to me. Eventually, when I started making more money through DJing, I was able to upgrade my studio. And here I've made a lot of good songs. I also acquired a residency in downtown Rochester at Main Street, and one night I got a call from the owner of Blue. He had told me that I was going to be direct support for Sequoia. I'll never forget that call. I remember I was very nervous, but once I got on that stage, everything went away. I remember looking at the crowd and they looked back and it was an instant connection. I could say that I played one of the best sets of my life that night. During my set, the owner of Blue came and told me real quickly that I was booked for the rest of the summer. I played with DJ Juice, as well with Dennis Selick, Manifesto from LA, and I finished the summer to do another show with Sequoia. They say once you get your foot in the door, the rest is history, and that is true. I've played at Grasshopper Underground in Ferndale, very well-respected house nightclub, as well as a pre-movement festival for Red Bull. Royal Oak, and in Pontiac at Electricity. That night I opened up for Nadi Ali. I go by quote, when there's something you want for it, no matter how hopeless it seems, never give up. Because years from now, you're going to look back and hope you gave it one more shot. I want to show you guys how my studio looks now, the music that I make now, and some of the gigs that I've played at. Hey guys, welcome to my studio. I'm going to be showing you guys how I made Andromeda, and I'm going to show you guys the studio gear that I work with. Alright, so let's get to it. This is my studio right here. This is the workstation where all the music gets done. The first pretty much important piece of gear are studio speakers. I used to work with the PA speakers, and you're not really supposed to make music with those just because you can't really hear the high ends, the low ends, the mids. So studio speakers, you got to have those to make music. All the sound gets pushed through a sound card, which this was the one that I used, and then through the computer. Your standard iMac is the one that I go to. I work with Logic Pro, which is the software, and this is what Andromeda looks like. Then the next piece of gear that is really important too is a piano, and this is Arturia Keylab 49. It's like a synthesizer. You can play with all these knobs and everything. It has like pads and everything for you to make different types of sounds with different types of synths. We got a studio mic over here to record vocals. I'm not using it right now to record any vocals though, but I do use it for singers or podcasts or class projects. Then the next thing is the Novation Launchpad, and we use this live. You pretty much put samples and you play around with them. And then for traveling, we have a little mini keyboard, and it's very useful as well. As long as the DJ gear goes, we pretty much work. I work with Pioneer, which is an industry standard, the CDJ 2000s. I have two of these things and then connected to a MIDI controller, which I use the mixer, which is pretty much this. But for gigs, I use this mixer and use the iMac, and that's what I do on my DJ gigs, especially for open format gigs. But other than that, I like to use USBs. So you just bring your music on a USB, plug it to these things, and you don't even need a computer. And then I got my standard Pioneer headphones. So Alright, so that's the studio, and I'm going to show you guys how I made Andromeda. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys how I made Andromeda. First off, we're going to start off with the percussion. So we got a kick. This is our kick. It's important to have a real good kick. A good kick means a good song. We had some hi-hats. Let's take a little click. A snare. All together. The next part of the song that is very important to have is a bass layer of synths. And this is the sound that I have that goes like this. And you can hear it playing. Then the other one is a pad, which is just like an airy voice. It gives it like a bed. So this is the start of the song. Then the next part that you guys hear is from a pluck of a guitar, which is this one. Together. And then the final part of the song is this melody right here. And it starts by going, we have it go. We have it low right now, but this plays out. And that comes in at the end with everything. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the way I've made Andromeda. I'm going to leave you guys with a preview of another track that I'm working on, and I'm going to leave you guys at the end with me playing it out in a gig that I did this weekend. So thank you guys. Alright, so this is a track that I'm working on right now, and I got to test it out last week.